everybody, and welcome to Greenlambkin's little podcast. I think this is number 3 of 2024. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Thank you for coming to join me today, and welcome if you're a new viewer. It's very lovely to have you in my little cozy crochet and knitting stitching corner. This is a podcast where I talk about knitting, crochet, cross stitch, English paper piecing, any other crafts I might be doing, and my indie dyed yarn business. And my name is Suzanne. It's lovely to see you all today. This is the last chance I'm going to get to record this week. I won't be able to record next week because it's the February half-term holiday for schools in Derbyshire next week, and also my youngest has got an inset day tomorrow, which is like a teacher training day we used to call them. So he'll be off from tomorrow as well. So I thought I'd best get this podcast recorded quickly before I've got people around me constantly. I don't mind vlogging when I've got them around because, you know, I can just turn it off, turn it on again, and it's only little snippets. But when I'm trying to sit down and record anything for any length of time, I prefer to have a quiet environment. I find it quite uncomfortable to talk to the camera with other people around me. And I don't know why, because there are lots of people listening to the video and watching the video, but that doesn't bother me. It's just the people who are watching me record it that makes me feel a bit woo. So anyway, the house is nice and quiet for the last time for a week now. So I thought I'd better get one recorded quickly while I still could. So what have I got to show you today? Not loads of different projects because I've got a few things going on which are secret projects. So I'm not going to be able to share those because I don't want to spoil the surprise for anyone. I've got one finished object. I've got 3 little ongoing works in progress, and then a few little bits and bobs of incoming goodies, and then at the very end I'm going to talk about an Easter shop update which is coming this weekend. So I've already recorded that on the dining room table, but today I'm trying this setup because I thought having that very highly polished reflective cabinet behind me was getting a bit distracting. So I've come to sit in this corner of the front room and see how we get on here. It's very comfy actually. And the chair doesn't creak like the one in the dining room. So that's always good. Okay, so let's get started with the finished object. It's a pair of socks. These are just plain vanilla socks. I've got 2 of them. And I cast these on after I'd finished my Christmas Eve cast on ones, so probably about 3.5, 4 weeks ago now. And these have been done for a few days. The yarn is by Cuddle Bums and it's the zebra yarn base, and the colourway is Midnight Rainbow. Pretty aptly named. And the toe and the heel are in West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply, signature 4-ply in the fuchsia colourway, yes, fuchsia. And it's all my normal stats for a sock cast on, which is 64 stitches on a 2.25mm Chowgu red lace circular needle. And then I use a 4/0 heel and a normal double decrease toe with Kitchener stitch at the end. So now I'm going to go and put those in my sock pile, and I'm very much looking forward to wearing them. Absolutely love this colour. So, and this was a gift from my lovely friend Paula. I'm very lucky indeed. It was part of my Christmas present, part of my early Christmas present, yeah. So I'm going to pop those upstairs when I finish recording, and I shall be able to wear them tomorrow probably. So that's the one singular FO. And I've got a crochet project on the go, but it's an Easter gift for someone. So what I'll do is when it's finished, I'll record some footage of it and talk about it, and then I'll show it on the vlog after the recipient has opened it, and then it won't spoil anyone's surprises. Oh, that's a nice cuppa. So what next? So obviously a pair of socks got finished, so a new pair of socks has been started, and they're living in this lovely project bag. Isn't this gorgeous fabric? And it was a gift. If you've been watching for a while, you'll have seen it already because I shared it last summertime, late summer, when we went on holiday to Devon, and I had a meet up with the lovely Cherie from Ollie and Bella podcast. We swapped gifts, and this was part of her present that she gave me, and I've been saving it for the new year because it feels very springy and fresh and beautiful, and it's got butterflies. So in this is I haven't printed the pattern out, so I can't show you it, but the pattern that I'm using is the Icicle Dreams socks by Dana Ray. If you follow her on Instagram, Dana Ray Makes, and it's DANARAE, Dana Ray Makes on Instagram, and she's a very prolific knitter and crocheter, and she designs lovely patterns. So I decided to knit her lovely sock because this really appealed to me. So the yarn I'm using is yarn that I bought last year when I went to Spring Into Wool, so it's almost a year since I got it. And the yarn is from Siobhan's Crafts, and the colourway is Bell, and it's a really interesting sock base that I've not used before, and it's 85% superwash Polwarth and 15% nylon. And I must admit, I'm really enjoying knitting on it at the moment. So here's the yarn. Isn't that absolutely stunning? Pastel neons with really bright speckle pops. Absolutely delicious. I could eat it. And here's the sock. It's available in 3 sizes, and I'm knitting the medium size, which is a 64 stitch count. And it's a really pretty texture, really pretty pattern, created with lots of textures. I'll turn it over and show the other side because there are fewer speckles. So the pattern, I'm not going to give away any secret details, but it's very nice textured pattern created using knits, pearls and slip stitches. And I am thoroughly enjoying it. And because it's like so many rows stocking stitch, so many rows of this, so many rows of that, it's a bit like knitting a self-striping sock. You're always just working to the next little chunk and the next little chunk. So it's growing really quickly. So far, the only thing I've done differently is I've put a 1x1 twisted rib on the cuff, and the cuff calls for, in the pattern it says do a 2x2 normal rib. And the pattern is designed for like a sock set with a couple of minis, and there are some stripe details in it as well, which are really pretty. But I just decided to go straight in for the old speckledy yarn. So I'm not sure yet if I'm going to, I mean, it's a long time since I did toes and heels in the same yarn as the main body of the sock, but I might actually do that with these, just to mix things up a bit. I sort of get stuck in the rut of doing the same formula over and over again, and it's nice to change things, and then it uses a little bit more of the yarn up as well, because I'm a little bit sort of piled up with ends of balls of yarn that left over from socks, and I have that many different blanket projects and whatnot that I'm either doing or planning to do, that I'm getting a little bit overloaded with them. So I might do a few more that don't involve a heel and toe contrast, so that I'm using a little bit more of it up and I don't have to store leftovers. And the Progress Keeper was a gift. It's an owl, and I'm not sure whether you can see that or not. It's an iridescent glass owl, and it's beautiful. And that, I think, was a gift years ago, and I think it was from Fallout Scarlet on Instagram, but I could be wrong because I'm talking years ago now, when I was having a really bad patch with my mental health and my fibro and everything. She sent it to me to cheer me up, bless her. People, oh, knitty friends are so lovely. Okay, so then because I've got secret projects that I'm not sharing, the only other thing I've got to show you is 2 blankets that I am making out of the my own yarn, the Secret Treasure Box Blanket Club. Oops. So, this has all been shared by other people on Instagram and on YouTube by now, but if you have ordered this and you haven't received it yet and you want it to be a surprise, I suggest that you skip forward until I stop waving blankets all over the screen. That's not very helpful, is it? But probably 4 or 5 minutes, I should think. But I do need to speak about the basket that they're living in as well, so it'll take me a little bit longer. But I am knitting 2 blankets, so look away now if you don't want to be spoiled. Otherwise, I'm keeping my blankets in this lovely basket, and I got this basket from Dunelm Mill, or Dunelm, if you want to be correct about things. Oh, it's jingling. Something's jingling in there. Yeah, so I thought this is going to grow. These are going to grow to be quite big, so I'm going to keep them in a basket rather than in a project bag. And it's nice. I like it because I mean I'm never going to take this project out of the house, so it doesn't need to be too portable. But I can pick it up by the handles and carrying it around. So I'm knitting a blanket and I'm crocheting a blanket. Now I am managing to get both of these 2 blankets out of one set of mini skeins. So the blanket I'm knitting is the Sweet Shop blanket by Penrose Knits, Laura Penrose. And this is how it's looking so far. So these are the first 4 colours from the Secret Treasure Box Blanket Club. And I'm using the sparkle yarn. So I've got peachy pinks, this lovely very pale blue with speckledy bits. We've got this very fruit pastels kind of multicoloured one, and then a greeny one which has got speckles of purpley lilac in it as well. And there's not going to be any extras as such along with this. It's just going to be the 4 minis per month. But for the first one, just to make it a bit more fun, I included a little bit of treasure with each one. So they all went out with, I don't know how well you can see this, a Progress Keeper which has a precious stone. It's not precious stone, it's a Swarovski crystal, and a little doubloon which I thought was quite cute. So that's the Sweet Shop blanket, and the yarn that I am using to contrast with it is one that I bought from our local yarn shop in the market hall in Chesterfield, which is called the Wool Cabin. So I'm having to keep all the little leftovers and all the little mini skeins and everything inside a project bag in the basket, because Pippin is absolutely fascinated by this basket and its contents. He's got his back to me at the moment, but he knows I'm talking about him. So I'm having to put them in here. Oh, I'll show you this whilst I just remember. After I've finished the 2 blanket pieces, I am taking the very last little leftover bits and making a magic knot ball and joining them all together. And I'm wondering if I'm going to have enough to maybe crochet an edge around. Now, that's not my idea. That was my friend Paula's idea. That's what she's doing. And it will only be a very little edge because that's the leftovers of the first 4 minis. And I reckon that's probably only about 3 or 4 grams there. So, yeah, this is a DK yarn, by the way. Anyway, back to the contrast yarn. So that's, it's got slight little flecks in it, like little speckles, like a tweedy yarn. And I haven't got the ball band for this one anymore, but then I did go and buy some more in a different colourway to use on the other blanket that I'm making. And the yarn is the Stylecraft Recreate, and it's a recycled yarn, and it has 40% wool, 30% acrylic and 30% polyester, and it's got a really good yardage on it. It's 350 metres, which for a DK is a really, really good meterage. So, yeah, this is the shade Ink, and it's a sort of a dark bluey grey. And the other one, I can't remember the name. It was something like, it was something to do with ashes, or might have been ash or something like that. I can't remember, but I'll have to go and buy some more anyway, so I'll go and check it. But the second blanket that I'm making is the Huga Burst blanket, which is one that I showed on the last podcast as well, as a suggestion. And so this is what I've got so far. So the same 4 colours. And then I'm putting an edging on afterwards, which is surplus to the pattern. And then I'm joining them with this lacy crochet join afterwards. I just found a tutorial for how to do it. It was done with trebles, English, UK terminology trebles, but I've done it with a single crochet, double crochet, which is a single in the US terms, to make it a little bit tighter and neater. Don't know how well you can see. Oh yeah, you can see it quite well against the wall, because it was a little bit too open for me. So this will only be like a little lap blanket, but I just wanted to use up as much as I possibly could. So that's the first 4. So if I do 2 months per row, so 8, then I'll get an 8x6 blanket. Yeah. So that'll be really nice. And I'm really enjoying it. The hook I'm using for this, I think the pattern said use a 5mm hook, but again, I was a little bit worried about how much yarn I would have left. So I went down to this is a 4.5mm crochet hook. And that's one of the Knit Pro Waves hooks. I really love the way these handles feel. Really nice grip on them and everything. So that's the tool that I'm using for that job. So each month when I've put all of the new ones in, I shall update you. Ooh, have another sip of coffee. And then I'll show you a few acquisitions. Oh, and I know what else I need to talk about with relation to the shop as well. Yes, I remember. I'm glad I thought about that. I'll tell you that in a minute. So the first thing is 2 balls of yarn, which were a gift for me. Now the lady that sent these to me, I haven't asked permission as to whether I can tell you, name her basically. So I'm not going to, I'm just going to say, you know, it was a lovely friend of mine who, she's been on holiday over to the other side of the world, and she brought me back some lovely Australian yarn, and it's Bendigo Woolen Mills. It was an extremely kind gift. And she brought me 2 balls. Look at these. Sort of remind me of Crazy Zauber ball yarn, but really soft. So this one is called Oriental Flowers. It's got washing instructions on there. I'm just looking to see what the, it just says 70% wool, 30% nylon. It's so soft. It's really lovely. It's going to make some beautiful socks. And then the other colourway that she sent me is this one, which is very springy, I think. Very soft and delicate. And this is called Summer Sky. And it's the same brand. Multicoloured sock yarn from Bendigo Woolen Mills. And I'm really excited to make something with these. They're so squishy. I love these donut balls. They always fall apart when you when you start using them, but I love the way that they feel. And it's nice, it feels nice and cool to the touch as well. So pretty. And there's such, like, I'll try and find a spot that it's a bit easier to see it on. There's some really nice barber poling in there as well, which I absolutely love the look of. I think they're going to sort of fade and transition really beautifully when they're knitted up. So thank you very much, you know who you are, and I've already said thank you, but I'm saying thank you again. I'm really excited to make things with that. The next thing is some fabric. I meant to look up the name of the shop. This was a shop recommendation from another lovely lady on Instagram who I messaged and said, where do you get your fabric from? Because it's so lovely. And you've just got such a lovely, beautifully curated selection. And that was my, oh my word, I can't remember her Instagram handle now. Something like My Creative Potty Life, or, do you know, my brain, it's terrible. Anyway, she sent me a list of different shops that she likes to buy her fabric from, and I went and had a look at one of them. I've not looked at them all because I know it would be dangerous. I've already been and bought some Christmas fabric from there, and then I went back and placed a second order. Naughty. But one of them, a couple of them are Easter fabrics. Let's show them one at a time, shall we? Sweet, sweet, sweet little chicks. Now, I'm not actively working on an Easter or spring project at the moment, but have one planned, and this is going to be, and I'm stockpiling fabric for it. So when I see anything that I think will work well with it, I immediately go and get it. And the other one has a larger print on it. Now open this up. These are long quarters, but I'm actually sharing these with my friend Davina as well. So these have a bigger motif on, which would be brilliant for fussy cutting if you're into fussy cutting fabrics. Really sweet bunnies, baskets and eggs. And then I'm obsessed with this fabric. I've got the charm pack of this range of fabric. It's called Halloween, the range by Moda Fabrics. But I absolutely adore this print. And I can't get enough of it. And also this print. So I've got both ends of the spectrum here. We've got Easter and we've got Halloween at the same time. So these are going to be going into my autumn Halloween quilt that I'm working on. But I'm also hoping that they can be partly used to make a project bag. So I'm going to have a look at getting that sorted out. But not for a little while. I've got plenty of time. And the last acquisition for today is a new book. I hope this isn't going to glare. And it's a 20 to make book, and it's flowers to crochet, and it's Sarah Jane Hicks, and I found this book on Amazon. Sure it's available lots of other places as well, but I looked for it because this lady's work popped up on my Instagram. Can't believe I wasn't following her before, but what I saw was what enticed me in. I'll show you the picture if I can find them. Just go to the back of the book and flick forwards. Actually, I'll show you this. It was a picture of the pansies. So I wanted some spring flowers to crochet, and it was the pansies and the daffodils that did it for me. It was a very reasonable book, and I'm going to be making some little Eastery bits over the next few weeks, so that will come in really handy. And that's it. That's quite light on the old content for today, isn't it? But I'm going to follow it up with the video about my Easter shop update. But also I just wanted to mention about the shop that I transitioned late last year from my Etsy shop to a Shopify shop. The Etsy shop is still open, but I'm trying to encourage people to use the Shopify shop to be independent of Etsy. And I'm not really actively updating Etsy with new stuff. So that's where it's all happening on Shopify. I'll leave the link in the description below. And the two clubs that I've started running this year, the Secret Treasure Box Blanket Club and the Moons of the Year Sock Club, are both on a new another bit of new technology for me, which is a subscription app that I'm using, so that it's not going to automatically take any money out of people's bank account, but what it does do is email out an invoice, or what it should do is email out an invoice monthly for the next instalment of the club, so that you don't have to actively think, because before, when I've done my advent club and things, I've put up an image on Instagram and Facebook saying the next instalment is now in the shop, and then again at the end saying, you know, it's nearly time for the listing to end so that I can get it dyed up and sent out. So and then people would miss out on it. So I started doing an email, a mailing list, and that really helped. But still, some people accidentally missed out on someone's. So actually emailing people directly to say, here is your invoice for the next month of the club, it's more direct and it's more difficult to miss out on. And that means that I don't have to struggle with trying to get people caught up if they've missed some, because my brain can't cope with too many different things at the same time, and I end up getting myself mixed up. And I don't want people to miss out. I really don't want people to have gaps in their club if they're wanting to do it every month. So all that is to say that as it's a new bit of technology that I've not used before, I have had a few teething issues with it, and I think that we've now got all of that. Johnny, bless him, has been really patient and really helpful and really helped me to get it all sorted out. And you should, if you have subscribed to either of the clubs, you should have had your invoice email now. It didn't send them out as we expected it to begin with, and we had to contact the company that runs the app to get some help from them about it. But I think that is now resolved, so thank goodness for that. And everybody should have had their email. But if you are subscribing, if you have subscribed and you haven't received an email, if you want to contact me either on Instagram, direct messages, or send me an email, I will get back to you. I have had some emails about it, and I've also had technical issues with my email inbox, which I've only just managed to retrieve the emails, so I'm working through those now. So apologies if you have contacted me and I've not yet responded, but I will be doing. But if you've received another email, some of them to begin with mistakenly said January when it's for February's instalment. So it's definitely, if you've got an outstanding invoice that's been emailed through to you, it is definitely for the February instalment of the club, and I apologise for any confusion that might have caused. But if you are having any problems, if you haven't received an email, drop me a line and I will get it sent out manually to you. And I do apologise for the messing about with that, but I think that we're now on top of it, so fingers crossed from now it should run smoothly. And there is a cut-off date each month that you need to have placed your order or paid your invoice by. And if you go onto the shop listing, there is like a little schedule which we've put on there, which shows you, you know, when the listing is going to go live and when it's going to finish each month of the year, so that you can make sure that you don't miss out on it. So I hope that explains everything. And again, I just want to say thank you, because you've all been really patient as I'm learning all these new bits and bobs, and I really appreciate it, because I'm not the greatest when it comes to managing technology. So yeah, you've been fab, and you know, just keep talking to me and I'll get things sorted out if there are any more issues. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go and wind up a ball of that speckledy egg Easter yarn now, and I will now share with you the Easter yarn shop update that will show you the speckledy egg Easter yarn. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you how it looks in a couple of weeks' time. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Oh, and by the way, if you enjoy watching my podcast and you haven't yet done so, it really helps me to grow the channel and keep going if you can click the subscription button that's just below the video, and a like always really helps as well. I appreciate everybody's comments and everybody's likes and subscriptions and everything. It makes it feel worthwhile to do what I do, and I really appreciate it all. So thank you very much. And if you do that and click the subscribe button and the like button, you're an extra star today. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Hello everyone, here I am with some information about our little Easter shop update. So I thought I'd show you the 4 colourways that are coming and all the extra bits to go with them. So this first one here, I've got them all on the classic sock base on the left and the sparkle sock base on the right. So this first one is an oldie and a goodie. We've had this one around for a few years. This is Bunny Hop. And it's grey and white with little micro stripes of these neon colours, which look very pretty. And then I've got some various different minis here as well, and I'll talk about the minis in a bit. Now this one is a new one for this year, and it's called Speckledy Eggs, and it's sort of pastel shades, and then it's got chocolatey cocoa brown and like a deep rich purple, which is sort of reminiscent of the wrapper of a very popular brand of chocolate. Sort of mini eggs, cream eggs, Cadbury's, etc. inspired colourway. So that's called Speckledy Eggs, and that's a new one for this year. And then down here, again, sparkle sock and, no, classic sock and sparkle sock, we've got Easter Bonnet, which was last year's new colourway, and this is quite a sort of vintage retro inspired Easter yarn. Knitted a pair of socks in this last year and really enjoyed it. And then the last one is another new one, and this one is called Fuzzy Duckling, and it's sort of pale shades of duckling yellow, we'll say, and then it's got speckles of oranges, browns and a springy green on top. Imagine all those ducklings swimming on the pond. Then we've got various different minis, which I'm going to list in the shop separately so you can coordinate if you want to make a sock setup. So we've got this rich sort of duck's bill kind of an orange, and then a cocoa brown, And then this one is a sort of a pastel neon pink to tone in, which tones in really nicely with this Easter bonnet colourway. And then we've got a royal purple, and I've got that on the sparkle and on the classic, just for an example, but I will have these on both bases. And then a pastel neon green as well, which they will coordinate with various ones. So the royal purple, for instance, and this pastel green and this cocoa brown would all go really nicely with the speckledy eggs, or the green or purple would look really nice with the bunny hop. You could put the orange or the cocoa brown with this fuzzy duckling, or you could put this nice green with it. That really lifts it, makes it look sort of daffodilly. And then you've got the Easter bonnet, which looks really nice with this one, but would also work really well with a dark pop of that cocoa brown to contrast really nicely with those. And then accessories wise, I've got 3 springtime bag charms. So these bunnies were in the shop last year, but I've just got a slightly different variation compared to last year. They didn't have a jingle bell on last year. They had a flower charm, but they haven't got any more of those. And then we've got these lovely springtime fawns, which are really cute, and they've got flowers on them. Now these will come with a bell on also, and they will be a variety of different coloured bells, and it'll just be potluck with those. So that's a very cute little Bambi. And then again, the chicken bag charms are back again from last year, and these have these are also a random colour. So you I get them in lots of different colourways, and it'll just be, rather than listing each one individually, it'll just be a potluck kind of a thing as to which colour you get. And then we've got 5 different progress keepers to sort of tone in with all of the different themes that I've got going on here. So we've got this lovely blossom, cherry blossom one, and the bunny one. These have all got a nice bead with them as well. And then this tiny little chick. Now these 3 were also in the shop last year. And then this year we've got a fuzzy duckling come to join the family, which would look really cute with this one. And finally we've got this very ornate little springtime wreath, which is very sweet and very sparkly. I don't know if you can tell here, but it has actually got really nice diamante stones all the way around it, and then this very pretty enamel work, flowers and butterflies and things. So these are waiting to be photographed, and I'm hoping that by the end of this weekend these are going to be in the shop, but I will pop it all on all the social media and things as soon as I've got them in the shop, so that people are aware that they are available. And I've decided that this year my Easter cast on is going to be speckledy eggs. And I'm just trying to decide whether to do classic sock or sparkle sock. It's not showing up very well, I don't think, the sparkle on the camera, but it is very sparkly in real life. I love it on both, but I actually really like it on the classic sock. I might do that for a change, because I nearly always do sparkle. Nice to change things up a bit. Anyway, there you go. Hope you like them all. Haha, I told you I was finished, but I was lying. I just wanted to drop in quickly and say that I have had so many people ask whether I've got any spares of the January Secret Treasure Box instalment, that I've decided to do a catch up for January. So if you did want to take part and think you'd missed out, the January catch up is a separate listing which is in my shop now, and I'll leave a link below. It'll be there until the 24th of February, which is the same date as the February listing for the subscription closes. So if you wanted to get them both, you need to make sure you've done it by the 24th. Okay, and now it really is over and out. Bye.